Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the middle of July 2025. We are going to jump right in here. You have this vision card and this empathy card. It's funny, you have the sun and moon in Pisces. Both, these that's what these cards represent. So it's like, it's kind of funny. It's popping into my head as the opposite, which is interesting. I do think it is a critical time for Capricorn to have a vision of their future life. It's like, you have to know kind of like what you want or where you're going. And, I think like having a vision or having like a goal or something that you want to achieve. And here you go, you have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is laser-like focus. So I think having that, having a goal or, something to focus on would be a really good idea here. I think you need to, I think this empathy card here, Capricorn, is saying you need to care about yourself enough to have good things, it's like you need to care about yourself enough to believe that you deserve good things. That's basically what I feel there. So, I feel that for a lot of you, that this is saying you need to kind of like make sure you go and, go after what you really want at this time. It's like sometimes I think when we don't, right? Like when we don't go for what we really want, we are not necessarily taking care of ourselves when we do that. And so, I'm not sure what I'm trying to spit out here, Capricorn, other than I feel like maybe a lot of you have some big goals or big dreams or things that you desire right now. And this is saying, go for it. Plain and simple. In the area of your current general energies, you have the Seven of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Cups. The Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but again, I always say the Seven of Swords is a good card. It is a golden card. Golden cards are meant to be positive no matter what, and I am a holistic reader, and if we look at the reading is very positive. There is no lying, cheating, stealing here. There could be an apology coming in for some of you. You have the Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, but, I really don't feel that. I feel like for most of you, this is saying it's time for you to be tactical. It's like you've been very practical for many years with Pluto in your sign. Pluto is going from the practical to the, I don't even know if tactical is the right way to say it, but you're going to the tactical with Pluto going into Aquarius. So it's time to be innovative. It's time to look for new ways of doing things, which is what he's doing. Instead of going to war, he's stealing the swords from the army in the background. He's doing things in a better way. I do feel like a little bit of fear here. It's a very good reading. I mean, there are no challenging cards here. Knock on wood, not yet, right? But what I would say is there's like a little bit of fear, but I kind of feel like I literally said this to Pisces. If you have Pisces in your chart, you might want to watch that reading because, again, you start with Pisces there. I said to Pisces, like, imagine if you were jumping out of an airplane or like, what I saw for Pisces in their reading is that it's like they felt like they were jumping out of an airplane, but really they're just jumping off of a table. And it's like they think they need a parachute, but they don't. And I kind of get a very similar feeling for you here, Capricorn, where it's like saying, there's really nothing for you to worry about a leap of faith that you're thinking about taking in life because it's like you're just jumping off a table. It's like there's like no risk at all. You know what I mean? Unless you have bad ankles or something like that, unless you've already sprained an ankle, but then just land on one foot, right? But, I still feel it's not even like that serious. So, I don't know. There you go. You have the Queen of Cups. Your heart is clearly trying to tell you to do something at this time. Queen of Cups is your heart. She really follows and values what her heart is telling her to do. And so I would follow your heart at this time, and I wouldn't try to logic it into existence. It's like maybe what your heart is telling you to do doesn't make 100% logical sense. But, I've been saying for a few years now that we are kind of in a time of jelly beans or breadcrumbs. But I don't like breadcrumbs because I think people take that as breadcrumbing. But it's like we're not just going to, at this time with the astrology, it's not like we're going to say, I'm going to go accomplish this thing. And then we're going to accomplish exactly what we set out to accomplish, right? It's more like we are being inspired. Pluto, Aquarius is the star, which is inspiration. We also have Uranus has just moved into Gemini, which is very like electricity, very random-ish, kind of like seeing other sides of doing things. So it's kind of like more we are being led to things, and I think that is partially the challenge for most people, is that it's like, you're not just going to, if you're looking for like to know what to do, you're probably not going to know what to do, meaning the outcome, right? But if you follow the inspirations and you follow the breadcrumbs and you let like one thing lead to another, you'll probably blow yourself away with what you're able to accomplish. But it's like you also have to face that fear of, kind of like not having that finish line in sight, if that makes sense. And, that's kind of the energy I get here. You have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, definitely time to walk away from what no longer serves you, for sure. I would definitely be careful this week, the week of the 14th, for you, Capricorn. So, I'm talking about like the first part of the second half of the month of July, the week of the 14th. It could be like a little bit nostalgic. You could be thinking a little bit about the past and things. But it's like, I think the universe is just trying to get earth signs in particular. Because I feel like this is a little bit of an earth energy, that earth signs in particular in you could be like thinking about the past in the sense where it's like you wish things could be the way they used to be. But I think the universe is just trying to say, like, no, maybe things weren't really as good as you thought they were. And I'm not talking about just like not love or anything. I'm talking about everything in your life, right? It's like maybe things really weren't as good as they could be. It's like, what you're holding on to. It's like if you really think back, like sometimes I think people say like, oh, I would love to, go back to that time when things were this way. And I'm like, yeah, but really would you? Or it's like, do you want something more? Because even back then, like let's say you want to go back to when you were 18 years old, there were probably things that you wanted that were more expansive, right? And I feel like the universe right now is basically telling you that you should be shooting for the stars, right? Pluto and Aquarius. Aquarius is a star card. I feel like it's saying, don't limit yourself with this like past vision. You're meant for more. But, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to put the work in to get there. But, it wants you to expand. It doesn't want you to shrink, right? With the Seven of Swords, you have the Eight of Swords. Not sure what to do. I really have nothing to add here, Capricorn, if I'm being honest, because I just feel like this is something Capricorn's dealing with. I think it's something Capricorn will get over as well. I think that some of you could be just not sure what your next step is. And the Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm not too worried about it. I think you're processing this. It seems to me like you're getting a focus right now with the Ace of Swords. So like I said, not even worried about it. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Five of Pentacles. You're not missing out as well, is what I feel like saying here. Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. Five of Pentacles wants you to focus on your strengths, and Five of Pentacles wants you to realize that, there's nothing in the past that you're missing out on. It's like you can create something so much better, and I really feel like I need to say that to you. And I really don't feel like this is love, Capricorn. I feel this is very big picture. I feel like this is every part of your life. I think that there are just like a lot of things. And really, I think what you're thinking about here is comfort, right? But being comfortable isn't always a good thing. It's like whenever I've gotten comfortable, that's like one of the worst things that have ever happened to me have happened to me. It's like that's what comfort does, right? You know what they say is like 90% of like accidents, like car accidents, happen when people are like within a mile of their house, right? Why? Because we get comfortable when we are very close to home. It's like we've driven that part of the road a million times, so we get comfortable, and that's when bad things happen, right? And we're not paying attention. So I feel like this is saying, like, what you think is comfortable really isn't. And I don't know, I feel like I need to say that as well. Apparently this is going to be one of those readings where I just feel like I need to say things. There you go. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yes, shooting for the stars, accomplishing something great, getting attention. He is receiving attention for the work that he has done. And, it's like, that's what I feel like you need to do is like your last 20 years has been very challenging. And I feel like you need to use that energy to like create whatever you're trying to create or get whatever you're trying to get here, Capricorn. And, I think you need to like put your work on display, like all the work you've done on yourself, everything, you know what I mean? Everything you've done. And there you go. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this mending card and this round around card. Again, yeah, some of you could be healing things from the past. You have the Wheel of Fortune and the Judgment card. So, some of you could be healing like past hurt, past wounds. Like I said, especially this week, the week of the 14th, if you're watching this reading, before the week of the 14th or during the week of the 14th, there could be a lot of healing. The round around card does say it's time to like start something new, but I mean, yeah, I kind of feel like you are. You have the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, and the Three of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune can represent a change in your fortunes, which is amazing. The other amazing thing is the fact that you have the Judgment card here. I feel like Capricorn has been desperately looking for answers. And I feel a lot of you are getting answers this month. It makes sense. We have Mercury retrograde. I think, again, people always say how confusing Mercury retrograde is. And I'm like, honestly, I have never found that to be true. It's like there have been moments of confusion, but I always get a lot of clarity during Mercury retrograde. And, the whole point of Mercury retrograde is to gain clarity. So it can bring information back. It can bring clarity back from the past and things like that. So I think a lot of you could be getting a lot of clarity here, or things could be, really just turning in your favor. I really do feel things are turning in your favor here, Capricorn. Are things perfect? No. Are things going to be perfect this month? No. But, I do feel things are improving, which is great. And, again, I think you're kind of getting answers. I feel like the answer you're getting is a focus, something to focus on. If you've been feeling lost, or like you don't know what to work on in your life just in general, or maybe you've been lacking passion, I kind of feel that the change in your fortunes is like the return to a passion. And so if you've been like looking to feel more passionate about life, or whatever you're working on, or if you've been looking for a passion project even, or something like that, definitely could be coming in for you. If you've been looking for love, definitely could be a person that you will be feeling passionate about coming in for you. So yes, it is a Mercury retrograde, but I always say, again, we shouldn't be letting astrology control our lives. And like I always say, it's not like the universe is sitting there saying like, oh, they chose to date the love of their life during Mercury retrograde, so now I have to ruin it, right? That's not going to happen. So I encourage people to date during retrogrades, because instead of wasting a bunch of time on a person, outside of a retrograde, it's like if the person's going to screw up, they're going to screw up right away. Like, within a month, right? So it's like, I'd rather let a person screw up and then let go with peace, right? And only have lost a month of my life than, 6 months or a year or longer that would happen if you dated this person after retrograde, right? So it's like, make the mistakes now. I encourage people to make mistakes during retrogrades, because it's like you will learn 1,000 times more than you would if you made a mistake outside of the retrograde, right? It's always so worth it. So, there you go. But definitely could be a victory. This could be some sort of truth coming in for you as well. Again, I think this came up in your last reading. Like, I would be careful of the past or whatever, because it's like, this might be a truth you don't want to hear. Maybe for some of you, maybe it is. So, again, you're all different. You have the Three of Cups, and again, the Three of Cups can be a celebration. And again, it can be a reunion, going this way. With the Judgment card, this could be like a past emperor coming back. It doesn't look bad. So I would say, like, if you're wanting clarity or whatever, sure, it could be good. But, again, if you don't, then don't. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Knight of Wands. Yes, I'm surprised the moon hasn't shown up in this reading, because this reading, I would say Wheel of Fortune with the Knight of Wands is needing to invite a little bit more of that wild side into your life, and needing to be willing to be a little bit more wild. It's like maybe you have been a little bit too domesticated recently, is kind of what I feel for you, Capricorn. And I'm not saying like this is in love or whatever. I think this is saying like in work. It's like, could you be taking bigger risks, or work or business or whatever it is you do? Could you take bigger risks? Could you make some mistakes, right? Could you do some things that could potentially be a mistake? Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. It's like sometimes that's what I feel with the Knight of Wands, is that he's willing to be spontaneous. He's willing to come up with an idea and just say, I just want to see how this goes, right? I'm just going to see what happens if I take this risk, if I do this experiment in my work and career, in my business and whatever. And that's what I feel like it's saying. It's like saying you need a little bit more wild side. And again, I'm not saying this isn't even like you're doing things that are going to hurt yourself or anything like that. These are tiny little things that you're doing. But, I would encourage a little bit of that. Like, it's almost like I feel like saying I would encourage some sloppiness here, but like not in a bad way, right? It's like we're talking about good sloppiness. With Ace of Swords, you have the Tower. Crazy, because this right here I consider the most powerful combination of the tarot, the Tower with the Judgment card. This is like a major revelation or a major wake-up call. So, which is good. I think this is something that you probably need right now. It's like you are looking for answers, like we said in the first row here. And so you could finally be discovering like what to work on in life, or you could finally be discovering like what your next steps could be. And this could be happening. I feel this could be happening over the next few days. We have Saturn going retrograde on the 13th, or actually technically tonight, to the 12th. So, before I even publish this video. And so Saturn's your ruling planet going retrograde as well. But, again, I think you basically have a few days here where, if you come up with an idea, you could get started, even though Mercury will be going retrograde. And so I feel that, like, any major revelations that you have, or any wake-up calls that you have, this could be very helpful for you. With the Three of Cups, you have the Ace of Cups. I do think this is love. I would be careful of the past, like I said. I do also feel like this could be a past person, though, that's coming back for love, Capricorn. But, it's like maybe this isn't a person you've dated. The other word I'm hearing here is like constant. It's like maybe you've been attracted to a person for a while. Like if you have something that has been like consistent, like, sometimes I think like we can have a person, it's like we're attracted to them and then, like I'm not saying you forget about the person, but it's like, maybe you don't see the person that often, or maybe it's, someone you just know that you talk to from time to time or whatever. But it's like maybe every time that you meet with a person, it's like you're reminded of your attraction for them or whatever. I don't know. It's popping into my head that there could be something that's like a little bit consistent, or a person who is a constant presence. And I don't know, there you go. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says let it come forth. It says give yourself permission to feel it. You have this speak to yourself with kindness. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. I said at the beginning of the reading, you need to care for yourself enough to do something like good for yourself or whatever I was saying. And, I feel like you need to believe that you deserve things here, Capricorn, is what this is saying. Like, you deserve good things. You deserve happiness, joy, all those feelings in life. You have the Two of Pentacles, the Judgment card, and the Ace of Cups. Two of Pentacles, like juggling, spinning plates, being very busy. I mean, typical Capricorn energy. So, I don't know. I think you are probably going to be busy. I actually feel this is pretty good with the Tower, the Ace of Swords, and the Judgment card, because I feel like this could be saying that it's like you're discovering something that is making you busy, or you're discovering something that you can be busy with. So it's like, I feel like you're giving yourself work in a good way. And that's what you could be discovering. With this card here, Judgment. I feel a lot of you are kind of like reinventing yourselves, discovering new purpose. Again, pretty much impossible for you not to, because Pluto has changed signs. Again, very significant for Capricorn. So, a lot of you could be kind of like discovering a new purpose. That doesn't necessarily mean you're like quitting whatever you're doing right now. You could be continuing to do what you're doing, but you could be doing it in a different way. You could be, leveling up, or, taking something in a new direction or whatever. So, I think a lot of you could be doing that with the Seven of Cups, or, with this card. I don't know why I said Seven of Cups. I meant to say Judgment card. But Seven of Cups could be an important energy for you. Seven of Cups is being spoiled for choice. So it's like, this could say there are like many ways that you can live your purpose. And I would be open to that with that card. You have the Ace of Cups again. Again, Ace of Cups is about choosing to care about yourself enough to put yourself into the flow, right? Like, yeah, sure, this could be love, but this could also just be, the Ace of Cups is anything that causes you to overflow. It's doing those things in life, the habits, putting yourself in the environments and the people, hanging out with the people, the places, the things that really make you feel like you are overflowing. Really, that make you feel like you are happy, or whatever you want to call it. And I think the more you can like put yourself in those situations, the better with the Ace of Cups. And yeah, that's really what I would do with that card, is like, really, I think this reading is saying put yourself first. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Page of Cups here. Yes, this could be a person you've been going back and forth on. I feel like it's uncertainty is what I feel here, Capricorn. So for those of you that are looking for love, I don't think you're back and forth on a person because you don't want them. I think you're back and forth on a person because you're not sure if they want you. Or maybe you're not sure like how it will turn out or whatever. It's like a little bit of nerves, right, is what I feel here. But I don't know. Looks good. If you're looking for love, I would go for it. With the Judgment card, you have the Six of Wands. Yeah, I mean, you're meant for great things, Capricorn. I think last year it was in 2024, I'm pretty sure, you had a bunch of readings that basically all said that, like, it's your time to shine, it's your time to be on top of the world, but you have to do it. It's like no one is going to know who you are if you don't put things out into the world. It's like, the Judgment card always reminds me, like, whenever I do a reading and I have, like, Judgment, Three of Pentacles, Six of Wands, it reminds me of Les Brown. He says, like, the richest place on earth is a graveyard because that's where ideas go to die. The Judgment card is a graveyard, right? It's like saying, don't let those things inside of you that are meant to be born die with you, right? Don't, he says, I don't remember exactly what he says in that speech, but he basically says that, that's where great books and, millionaire ideas, that never get created go to die. And because those people just kept them trapped inside of themselves. And I feel like that's what this is saying. It's like there is greatness inside of you. And yes, you bet your ass I'm trying to gas you up here, Capricorn, right? So yes, I am. But I think that there's greatness inside of you, but you have to let it out. You have to get started. And, I think it kind of reminds me also of like one of my favorite books, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, right? He says, I can never remember. I need to like actually read it again, but he basically says, if everything went like 110% according to plan, what would that look like? And, I think it's almost like you need to believe that, but I almost feel it's more like you need to believe that there is no risk here, like with whatever you're doing in your life or whatever you're thinking about doing or whatever you're worried about doing. It's like, imagine I used to think about this when I was a kid. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I used to think about like my intuition, and I used to say, wouldn't it be cool if I could like think about something and I could just like see a green light or a red light, right? Like in my head, right? That would tell me like, yes, go in this direction, right? And it's almost like it's just a green light for you here, Capricorn. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. I feel like you have to let go of the past in love as well here. So again, I mean, we've already talked about it. I think you need to let go of like past burdens, past worries. Again, if you are attracting love, this looks very good. So it's not going to be a burden. I would let those fears go for sure. Next, in the area of the good stuff, here you go. You have this deeply rooted in love card. It says, something is emerging from the depths of your intimate most desires. Tower Judgment. This is a major revelation. Major wake-up call, major light bulb moment. So, something is emerging from inside of you that you really want to do. You have this web of creation. It says, be aware of what you're weaving in your life to create better experiences. Yes, I think we all need to be very careful of our vibe right now. We need to make sure we're giving off good vibes. We need to make sure that we're, kind of like focused in the right direction. So, there you go. You have the Emperor, the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Cups. The Emperor definitely could say that you are attracting like an Emperor type person into your life. So if you want love, this could be very good, of course. This is also good for you bossing up, which I think is more important. This is like above Empress energy. I think the funny thing is, I think you need to embrace Empress energy, like the self-care side of things, the caring about yourself enough to do good things for yourself type of energy, like that side of the Empress. I definitely feel you need to embrace. And then I think you also need to take control of your reality with the Emperor so that you can have great things. You have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be a knight in shining armor for those of you that want it. So if you want love, there definitely could be a very solid connection coming in for you here. The Knight of Cups is about planting seeds. He's standing in the desert, but there's this water flowing in front of him. And he needs to plant seeds in front of that water because they will grow. So even if you feel like it's not a good time or it's not the time, I feel like it is the time. And no matter what, the seeds will grow if you get started. You have the Four Cups. I really think you have to let go of past disappointments. He's been disappointed 3 times before, and that's why he's not accepting this new cup into his life. But, he needs to realize that he's not necessarily going to be disappointed this time around. Things can go different. With the Emperor, you have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. The past, right? You have to let go of the past. But the Ten of Swords is coming up in the good stuff, which is saying, Ten of Swords in the good stuff is a blessing in disguise. This can definitely say that some of you are getting some sort of blessing in disguise, or you're seeing something as a blessing in disguise, basically. And so, yeah, I feel pretty good about that there. It's like, this could be you realizing that, a past connection didn't work out because there's something much better, obviously, coming in for you, right? And, that's what you're focused on. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Eight of Cups. Yes, walking away from things that no longer serve you, but this is coming up in the good stuff again. So it's almost like because you chose not to stay in something in the past, and I'm not saying this is just love, this could be anything, because you're choosing yourself here, you're attracting better things. Coming up in the good stuff, he would be walking towards like a wish or wish fulfillment on the Eight of Cups, and I definitely feel that's what you're doing, right? Let's see. With the Four Cups, you have the Emperor again. Yes, definitely, if you're wondering, like, are you attracting an Emperor? The answer is yes. It could be an Emperor or an Empress, whatever you're into, doesn't matter. So I feel like you're attracting something very, very solid into your life if you're looking for love, for sure. So that looks good. You have this Bull card that says, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Yes, I think that you have to be brave, bold, assertive at this time. Like, all that will be very good for you. You have this Younger Woman card. It says, dealings or relationships with the younger woman. You have this Rabbit. It says, too much concern with sexual matters. I would be careful of like immature energy for sure, or people who are too concerned with that. But at the same time, I don't know. I really don't feel much there. You have this career card. Yeah, I mean, you are going to be very focused on your career and finances for the next many years. It's time for you to make money, Capricorn. I don't know how else to say it. One thing I will say is that I would work on those like limiting beliefs and those money blocks and things like that, right? I would keep it positive. I would make sure that you're challenging yourself in the right ways and all that other good stuff. You have this bird flying. It says news is on the way. If you have been waiting for information again, which, Tower, Ace of Swords, Judgment, I definitely feel this is answers that you are receiving, that you are getting here, Capricorn. I feel very good about that. So love it. That looks amazing to me. You have this candle card. It says you will be shown the way. Like, are you kidding? There's nothing to worry about. I literally basically said that on the Judgment card in the Tower earlier. It's like you are getting guidance or the answers that you need in the direction that you need to know in your life. So this looks really good, Capricorn. I love it. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.